show in the time being here. With us right now, a guy who's sort of the point person of all this, South Carolina Republican Tim Scott. Congressman, you were feeling the heavy pressure yesterday. You voted against the measure, but you were sort of on standby for Speaker Boehner in case he needed you. He had his votes, more than enough votes, 218 votes, but you would have been ready to vote for this?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why I voted no and why South Carolina voted no is simply because it doesn't go far enough to address the financial crisis that looms in America. There was only $7 billion of actual cuts the first year out of $1 trillion. Simply put, that was simply not enough. And having the balanced budget amendment attached to the second tranche as it relates to the debt ceiling increase was insufficient as well. We'd love to have seen that on the front end.
But it wasn't in there. But you're telling me that if it was real close and it was the 2 to 14 to 15, are we there or are we not, you would not have helped the Speaker out?
All decisions get more difficult as you get closer to the end. I had decided to vote no. Our colleagues had talked about it. We had gone through a process to come to our conclusion. So this vote would not have averted the crisis that we're having, and it would have been DOA in the Senate as it has been already.
Indeed. So now that was one thing the Senate didn't waste a nanosecond rejecting. A little more than 2 hours later, as you said, it was shot down. What is the House going to do now? It's going to essentially come up with something that mimics what the Senate or what the Reid plan is. You'll slap it down, so a little tit for tat?
The Reid plan is just a game as a Ponzi scheme at the end of the day. It has $1 trillion of the 2.7 or $3 trillion worth of cuts coming out of the countdown of Iraq and Afghanistan. There's no question that's not real cuts. If you're not going to spend the money.
The Boehner plan had the same thing.
Well, actually, the first half of the Boehner plan was $940 billion was actual cuts. This plan has $1 trillion of a Ponzi scheme on the American people that we will not support in the House.
Does it bother you, Congressman, that at least when the ratings agencies talk about this process, they're kind of faulting all you guys for Ponzi schemes, right?
Well,
I mean, they're saying that the numbers don't add up. Whatever you agree to longer term does not seem to happen on paper, or certainly in the first year or two where the cuts are fairly paltry.
Neil, it sounds like you would have voted no, too. That's a good sign coming from the great Neil Cavuto. I will say this, that we really need to get serious about changing the trajectory of our spending in this country. We're not talking about that yet. Until we actually get on the page that talks about long-term systemic change in the way we spend money or the way we can spend money, I think you'll find that conservatives are looking for a way to support something that originally we did not want to support.
I mean, I understand.
At the end of the day, we're trying to find something that will actually work. So I see the conservatives getting more conservative. I see the liberals getting more liberal, and I see the impasse and the deadline getting more close. Well, there's no question, Neil, that you can't expand time. So Tuesday is Tuesday no matter what happens. However, we are all still at the table trying to find a way to make sure that this country starts changing the trajectory of our spending and at the same time be reasonable with those on the left. We've said simply, give the states an opportunity to decide on a balanced budget amendment. That doesn't sound draconian. That doesn't sound difficult.
Well, whatever its merits, Congressman,
it doesn't
seem to move beyond
people.
Where we stand, right? The Senate just doesn't want to do that. So where do we stand?
Well, the question is, if you got a burglar breaking into your house, do you open the door or do you not? I say we find a way to bolster our response to the other folks, and we say to them, let's come back to the table and drop a plan that actually works for the American people. Let's put the Democratic philosophy and the Republican philosophy on the sidelines, and let's think about folks who are working 12 to 14 hours a day to pass on the American dream to the next generation. If we focus on that person and get rid of the bipartisan, nonpartisan, and partisan debates and think about the average person who depends on strong leadership to make good decisions, we'd be in far better condition. But we haven't gotten there yet. 7 months into D.C., I'll tell you this. We have too much bickering and not enough solutions because we're not focused on the American people. We're focused on ourselves.
You know, Congressman, real quickly, I talked to a Tea Partier last night. I never realized till coming here how many Tea Parties there are. I guess there are a bunch of them. Anyway, she was saying, I'm recording each and every one of their votes, referring to the freshmen Republicans, largely Tea Partiers, who got in. Does that make you nervous?
Not at all, actually. I mean, I call my folks back at home. One thing that makes me nervous is when I come here and decide to vote like a Washington Republican or a Washington Congress member and not a member of the Common Sense Caucus of the American people. That's what makes me nervous.
Congressman, you look good for a guy who's had no sleep.
Oh, thank you, sir.
He will.
makeup.
All right, thank you very,
Have a good
very
day.
much.
Thank you.
All right, in the middle of this debate, as I said, we're